As you can imagine, working a full-time job and producing a video a week for YouTube, I have to take time management very seriously. What are you doing? I'm gluing googly eyes to this fabric. Why? Not why, when. Hi, I am Clements, and I used to make stuff like this. This is the frame for the floor of my wife's mew. There are a lot of different ways to do the floor in a mew. Some people put down foam mats, which we did, but then on top of that they usually put down like wood chips. If they build the mew outside, sometimes it's just a natural ground. I decided I wanted to put a tarp in there. I figured that'd be a really easy way to clean it out, because you could just take the whole tarp out and then wash it, put it back in. But instead of just putting a tarp in there, which would just kind of always get moved around, especially with the bird clawing and just pulling back and forth, I decided to build a frame that you stretch the tarp out on, and then that keeps all the edges nice and taut. Now of course it needs to fit through a doorway, so I made it able to bend in half. So you just put the tarp down, staple it on, put it in the room. Whenever you need to clean it, you just fold it up, take it out, wash it off, and then when it gets too dirty, you just peel off the tarp and put on a new one, which is what I'm going to be doing today. However, my hinge broke. As you can see, it's no real surprise that it broke. It's a pretty tiny hinge and a huge amount of force on these giant levers. But instead of replacing it with another hinge, either the same type or try and find something more substantial in this small width, I think I'm actually just going to make a hinge out of leather. I think that'll hold up to these forces a lot better. So I'm just going to cut out a strip and then just probably screw it on, and then I can just stretch the tarp over, and that's it. I think that'll work all right. Obviously there's quite a bit of play in it, but for what I need, I just need it to basically stay together. So I think that'll work okay. So we'll use that, and then if the other hinge ever breaks, we'll do the same thing. So now I just need to remove some of the old staples and then put on a new tarp, and that's it. Well, I got this tarp at Home Depot, and I think the one I got that I originally built this frame on was from Lowe's. Ever built? This one seems a bit smaller. I'm pretty sure the one I had on it before, I was able to actually wrap all the way around to the back so that the staples were all on the bottom. So yeah, I'll be back with another tarp on another day. Alright, it's several weeks later. Trapping season is in full swing, so Lisa will be trapping a bird any day now. So I need to hurry up and get this tarp finished. So I have a Lowe's brand tarp, a Blue Hawk tarp. So first we'll see if their 8x10 is actually bigger than the Home Depot 8x10. And it does appear to be just slightly bigger, so that's good to note. I'm going to cut off the reinforced corner here. It's like pretty nice, but I don't need it for this. Get right off. Yeah, so this is definitely larger than the Home Depot one. In the 8-foot direction, it's probably even 2 to 3 inches longer, and then in the 10-foot direction, it's maybe an inch and a half longer. The Home Depot one didn't even fit this 8x10 frame. It was even smaller than an actual 8x10. It was still a good tarp. It's what I actually ended up using for the wood storage bin. So, and that works fantastic. Oh crap. I wanted the green side. Oh, I didn't want the blue side. It's kind of like a satin finish. I don't know if I've seen a tarp like that before. I think it'll be nice. It's not going to be as reflective. Most of the time the mews will be dark anyway, but yeah, let's break the frame. Alright, let's try this again. So I can do like a 1/2 inch overlap. I don't want to go crazy with my staples because every staple I put in is one that I'm just going to eventually have to remove when I go to change the tarp again. But I still think it's the best way to go about attaching it. Anything else would just complicate it too much. So if I just strategically put them in, it won't be that much of a pain to remove them later. And of course you don't have to remove them. I could just have years and years worth of staples up, but it does keep everything cleaner if you take the time to pull them out. So I guess it all depends on how lazy I am next year. Just fitting a little slit next to it, let you pull the grommet right off. Alright, that should about do it. So now we'll go and walk it into the mews and see if it fits on in. Now one of these corners, this corner, it only fits in one way, so this corner's been notched out. So it should walk right in and sit down. So see you in there. Okay, so there are a few things on the wall that make this a little challenging to do. Okay. It's a really nice stretched tarp. And then, so it's really easy to clean. You just bring in a mop and clean up. And of course, if it gets really dirty, it's pretty easy to just fold in half, walk out the door, hit it with a hose outside. And if it's beyond cleaning, you just pull off the tarp and staple on a new one. I think it's a pretty useful, neat way to go about it. And of course, underneath the tarp, there's still foam mat, so it's still a decently soft, comfortable floor. And again, this matte finish on the tarp is actually really nice. It's really not reflecting a lot of light. Now, I'd be surprised if any of you have a mews, especially one that's in need of a floor solution, but I still think the idea of a tarp frame has its purpose. I think there's other rooms that something like this would be useful. Just having a tarp that's stretched across a frame and having the ability to fold it in half, or it can fit in a room where it might not fit otherwise. Even just outside, having a tarp that's stretched across a frame where it's not blowing up in the wind and you're trying to keep every single corner down and having to put rocks in the corners or anything else. And just using leather as a hinge point versus just a metal hinge, because again, that's a really big fulcrum and there's a lot of force going on there. Oh, one other mews solution that I came up with that I'd like to share quickly while we're in the area. This is a roll of paper that I have mounted on the outside of the mews, and you can pull this down and then just cut off a sheet, and we can put that on the perch, and that'll catch the bulk of the mess. But before cutting it, down here I have 2 holes, and these holes match the distance on the poles on the perch. And what we can do with that is, in the middle of our sheet, take a slightly sharpened pipe, locate those holes, and punch out the hole. Cut a line there, cut it off there, And then that covers over the whole perch really nicely. It fits over the pipes perfectly. And then you just pull it off once it gets dirty and put down the new sheet. So that's worked out really, really well. But this is just a little look at the mews. Hopefully there'll be a bird in here very, very soon. But for now, my sincere thank you for watching once again.